All right. Hey, everybody. I wanted to share with y'all a story that I wrote back in 2012. Actually, when I lived in Spain, I was doing a study abroad program in Valencia. This is just something I wrote around, let's see, October 4th while I was living there in my little flat. Just a story that kind of happened for the day from my blog. And I just wanted to reflect on it once again. I kind of always go back to this story, just being somebody who came from sales and starting out in insurance and then doing financial sales and eventually becoming an investment advisor at one point. And I still do have some clients in that regard, but I just want to invite y'all today to reflect on some key ideas about adaptability in the face of challenges. How the Singing Cerveza Salesman overcame the odds by doing something different and standing out. The importance of a positive attitude, how keeping a smile, even in tough situations, can make the difference in sales and life. Relating this to your own hustle, your own job, your own career, your own why, your own Tao. Whether you're in sales, starting a business, or just trying to find your path, what's your unique song? This story offers lessons not only for entrepreneurs, but anyone navigating setbacks and striving for connection in their work and life. So let's go ahead and get started. The Singing Cerveza Salesman. Everyone needs work. Humans are inherently happier when they are busier. This semester, I am studying in Valencia, Spain, on a worldwide collegiate program called European Project Semester. I have been keeping a moleskin journal on some of the experiences which may be unveiled in the months to come here on Frugal Sun, which was the name of my website at the time. The initial phase of the project semester has been simple yet difficult, as students from Holland, Sweden, India, Germany, and many more are suddenly given a language barrier to work around and a large team project to complete. Several ideas were presented, including a project to construct an ecological, green-friendly outdoor theater on the University Politecnica de Valencia grounds, a new product line of toys for children, work on improving the microbrewing process, which was an ever-growing industry at the time, and many more. The project I chose involves working with Torresid, a frit and glaze company known for its innovation and customer service. Our team is slated to do research into the new markets that they're trying to break into: North Africa, India, and China. At the same time, we're going to help them change their logo if it is economically feasible to do so. At the time I was living there, Spain was undergoing hard economic times. The European sovereign debt crisis was in full swing. From a financial standpoint, I had never lived in such a scary situation. Before the trip here, I was told the best option would be to set up a bank account. Now, I'm glad I didn't, and I reference some website or story. The unemployment rate is incredibly high here. I have my own ponderings and musing as to why, but we'll keep those silent for now. Of course, blue-collar work is plentiful, as I was offered a job at a local bar to do some heavy lifting and cleaning work. Surprising, because my Spanish was terrible at the time of this offer. I had no idea what blue-collar work actually was. We have talked in the past on this blog about side hustles that you can do to increase your secondary income. While some of the options are unavailable to legal reasons in the United States, I wanted to expound on some of the business models employed, how it relates to the sales industry, and how you can construct similar models and succeed. Due to the economy of surrounding countries in the Middle East and North Africa, immigration into southern Spain, both legal and illegal, is a major issue for the Spanish government, as well as the European government as a whole. The language barrier prevents many of the immigrants from attaining jobs, and the other is possibly due to the cultural differences that Spanish felt towards the distrust of people from other regions. This is very prevalent, and you can do some research into the Catalonia region, the history behind that, and kind of the reason that this is. This is where I, as an outsider, experienced a lot of racism because I wasn't from the area. The downtrodden laborers must resort to selling items that they can afford or services they can do. And just by that, I mean, like, people wouldn't talk to me, people wouldn't serve me, shopkeepers would not sell to me if I didn't speak the language or simply because I wasn't from the Catalan region. These items that they would resort selling to would include, but were not limited to, things like sunglasses, bracelets, fake roses, necklaces and beads, water, various snack foods, beer, and other knickknacks. As I wander out of my apartment for evening strolls in the historic center of Valencia, I notice one of the salesmen who looked like Harold Perrineau or Michael from the series Lost. This used to be an embedded image. I'm guessing there's been some stuff happened since then that took that away. He sold several sunglasses and trinkets aplenty. Michael looked healthy and happy the first time I saw him, making a few sales to travelers out for the evening of fun in Valencia. Then 2 weeks later, I saw Michael again. This time he seemed to have gray hair and gained a few pounds. As he approached a group of tourists to make a sale, they waved him off. And this happens a lot. These salesmen, they are everywhere. When at least I was there, like 3-4 times through a dinner or even a lunch, you would be approached by one of these salesmen trying to get you to buy some sunglasses or necklaces or fake roses. I would go on a lot of like lunch outings with other students, and sometimes it would be a female student and we would be doing class stuff, having nothing to do with a date or anything like that. But the one selling the fake roses, obviously thought we were on a date or whatever, but that wasn't true. So they're very relentless. And in this case, 2 weeks later, he got turned away. He frowned, and you could actually hear him sigh. Any salesman, and myself, who had gone through a Northwestern Mutual internship prior, can relate to this. A week of no sales weighs so heavily on you that you lose control and express your unhappiness. This is a mortal sin in sales and on your happiness. No wonder Michael looked terrible. His mind was portraying how he felt, defeated by the tourist, a hard life, not thriving at all. And I found this was very insightful. His mind was portraying how he felt, because as I've gone through life, in my moments struggling with bipolar, when I've been very manic, I've been very excited, very bright, very energetic. And then in times of depression and sleepiness and tiredness and no drive, I've had like the bags under my eyes. People didn't want to interact with me or talk to me or, put up with me, because like that inward feeling projects outward. Meanwhile, the smiling salesman 2 groups over is selling bracelets and beer aplenty, and this brings us to the Singing Cerveza Salesman that we met on the beach. One of the big side hustle industries for many of the immigrants is selling beer for €1 to the turistas and partygoers. A common cultural habit in Valencia is in Barcelona. I've not seen at the time of writing. I had not been to many other cities, but botellons are very common throughout Spain as a whole. And it was true. It is very typical in Mediterranean culture is the botellon, which literally translates to street party. The cities here have small parks all over, and it is common for young people to gather at a botellon, talk, be merry, and enjoy the spirits. I love the way that the cities were set up. You had streets with a park in the very center. So the traffic going one way, the traffic going the other way, and then your tiendas and casas, apartamentos, and all your habitations kind of on either side. It's a very great setup. When the botellon starts and the students gather, your side hustle starts. So we're taking the perspective of a salesman. After a long day, keeping your small little tienda open, selling anything you can find in a convenience store, you grab the ice cold beer to take out and start selling. You don't know Spanish or English, but you can read the top of the can at least, where it would say birra, cerveza, beer, or cerveza. So you hope, as you read it, someone will know what you are selling. It's dangerous work because the police can arrest you for it over there, but there's a market. Thirsty tourists and penniless partiers turn to you in times of need, willing to pay the €1 premium for a can of subpar super cold beer. The competition is fierce. There are several other Cerveza salesmen surrounding you and around the corner. Your success is largely based on luck and timing. How do you set yourself apart? After you learn a few more words like fria, cold, and hola bonita, how are you, como estas, you can interact much better with your prospective parched clientele. When out and about, it is not uncommon to be approached several times within 1 minute by different salesmen. They are all carbon copies of each other, it felt like, saying cerveza, birra, and monotone, no smile, no cheer. You turn them away with a wave of a hand and they move on to another group, hoping to make a sale. When sales take a turn for the worse and you realize it's time for a new tactic, what did one salesman do? Singing. Although hardly the melodious harmonies of your favorite singer with no essence of timing or rhyme, it was annoying at first. Our group had just finished working for 4 hours on the logo and tile research for Torresid. We wanted to relax on the beach, the La Playa, right? Not listen to another Cerveza salesman sing clashing cantations of very, very cold beer, fria cerveza, very, very cold beer, fria cerveza. A few members of the group started to poke fun at the salesman. On his third pass, I was taken back to my youth at a minor league baseball game where the aisle workers sold cotton candy, drinks, and Budweiser. You can hear them now as they make their rounds up and down the stadium stairs. Cotton candy here, ice cold Coca-Cola, A guttural Budweiser, Bud Light, cold beer, get your cold beer here. As I had a quick trip down memory lane, I couldn't help but shout them back as he sang. And this is what I did. I said, Budweiser, Bud Light, get your cold beer here. It's just kind of like it happened in my head. I couldn't help it. I blurted it out. He didn't understand. He came over, and instead of giving up when we waved him off, he squatted down with us and started singing and interacting. He tried 2 times, 3 times, and 4 times to sell us a beer. He would leave disappointed as it was too early for us to start drinking. After he left, we began discussing how at least he is trying to set himself apart from the monotone carbon copies of his brethren. I felt respect as a previous salesman in life insurance. I wanted to buy a beer for this alone. Here is a guy who is trying. Alas, I hadn't eaten, and having a beer with no protein first, blasphemy. Plus, there was a party planned with the rest of the European project students that promised free food and drink. I wasn't ready. Marshmallow test time. I went for a walk on the beach and came back ready to relax some more. Not even a few minutes later, I could hear the sing-song rhythm of the Cerveza Salesman. He joined our group and playfully interacted with us again, offering a beer, Coca-Cola, or potato chips. Not yet, I thought. Renz and Ben bought a beer after the salesman's third try. Okay, maybe, I allowed myself the temptation. Then Tom bought one too. I heard myself say, okay, well, if everyone else is going to start, and forked over one of my sweetly saved euros. I took the can, icy cold to the touch, popped the top, and took a few sips. The beer, an Amstel Light, was refreshing. The beach was hot, and after a 16-hour fast, the calories were much needed by my body. It felt good. After some time, I finished the beer and I told myself, no more. You need to eat, Dave. Woe is me, for the salesman returned shortly with the same consistency as before. We all bought another one, even though we had been approached by several other beermen in the meantime. I just remember this. They saw the success and they were like, oh, they're warmed up. They're buying. They didn't have any luck. The Singing Cerveza Salesman won our hearts. We only wanted to buy from him. Our group later talked about how we remember this man's face and how his simple tactics won us over in the end. There's a very important lesson in this story that can be applied to all areas of sales and even life. On the days that it feels like you're on the hot beach, and he was wearing jeans and a polo, this Cerveza Salesman was, doing your best to look presentable, you're tired, sweaty, upset, it's been a long day, but if you just keep that smile and playful attitude, your clients will love you. Be original, find a quirk and capitalize on it. Adjust your sales pitch to your audience, even if you can't speak the language. Turn this little side hustle that you can set up outside of a stadium. You can turn this kind of mentality, the Cerveza Salesman mentality, into a side hustle outside of a stadium after any kind of major sporting event. And we see this all the time now, and sell bottled water and cold drinks, maybe even some cheap snacks. The people just leaving will feel refreshed to see much lower prices than they were just exposed to inside. And this can spur someone to action, right? They're just now comparing it to like, I was just paying this much for how much was that water? How much was it for that pack of chips? Be happy because the parents are upset because they just spent $6 on a Coke and $18 on hot dogs and pretzels for the kids. They don't want to see the same financial misery in you as you try to sell them a bottle of water for $2. So don't be the mirror. Be a positive mirror. Take the negativity. They've just like had all of this time in a 3-hour, 2.5-hour sporting event, being exposed to all these prices, the money sink, and all of that, all the stress that comes along with being a parent in the stadium or just a party goer. And if you don't want to spend the $7 on a bottle of water, now maybe a bottle of water for $2 doesn't seem so bad. Have fun. Having a side hustle should be entertaining and fulfilling. Thrive on the fact that you are helping people save money from the evil corporate giant, or imagine that you were living the American dream, because you are. If you're in America, you're living the dream. So just reflecting on this story a decade later, the lessons feel more relevant now than ever. We do have a lot of hustle culture, but anybody who needs a side hustle, anybody who wants to make a little bit of extra income can definitely learn from this story. The reason is because if you're going to get out there, put yourself out there, especially if you haven't been in sales, but you have a good idea for something like this to do on the side, just know that it's going to take a little bit of resilience. The Singing Cerveza Salesman wasn't just selling beer. He was selling a connection, persistence, and a spark of joy. In a world where it's easy to get lost in the grind or feel defeated by any little setback, he reminds us of the power of trying something new, of showing up with a smile, even when the odds aren't in your favor. Looking back, I realized that this story isn't just about sales, it's about life. Whether it's in your career, your relationships, or even your mental health, the key is to keep trying to adapt and to find your own voice amidst the noise. Don't be like everyone else. Find what's original in you and capitalize on that. So I'll leave you with this. What's your singing cerveza? How can you turn a challenge into an opportunity or a tough day into a chance to stand out? Let me know in the comments below this video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope the story inspires you as much as it does me when I go back and read it from time to time. If it resonated with you, please share your thoughts about how it resonated with you in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories and how you all are finding your own unique ways to thrive in today's world. Until next time, keep hustling, keep smiling, and keep finding joy in the journey.